Okay, Snohomish storyteller audience. We played a bit of a musical chairs in the Red Truck studio today. It's going to be a very sweet episode because we're actually turning the chairs around on Maygen. Maygen, our intro is not there.
It's so weird.
It is, but it is a great occasion because in Maygen's place as co-host for today's episode, we have Ken, our favorite Froyo provider, or as I'd like to call, Frovider. I came up with that on the drive over here.
I like that.
Nicely done.
But welcome, Ken.
Thank you.
So nice to have you as my partner in crime today.
I'm excited to be here.
So for those of you who have not listened to all of the other Snohomish Storyteller episodes, would you introduce yourself, Maygen?
Sure. My name is Maygen Hetherington. I'm the executive director of the Historic Downtown Snohomish Association and normally the co-host of this podcast. So today I'm on the other couch.
The other couch.
The one being questioned instead of doing the questions myself. Feels a little strange, but I'm here for it.
There's a first for everything, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so actually, how does it feel to be in that seat now?
It's uncomfortable for sure. It's just a different, like Sheila and I, we don't prepare too much because we like to keep the conversation organic, but we do kind of have like some touch points we want to make sure we get to.
Mm-hmm.
And even though Ken was very generous and sent me a couple FYIs, it still just feels strange to be over here. And I've been a guest on one other podcast, and Sarah Dillon Jensen's podcast, The Market Maven, and I remember feeling incredibly nervous on that too.
Well, it's just Ken and I, so it's okay. It's just us.
I know, it's fine.
So how is it that you came to be in that chair?
This chair today, you kept asking me, Ken, multiple times.
It's been in the works for a long time.
Yes, I finally gave in. Yeah, actually, other people started saying things about that and like sharing your message and putting faces behind things and personal testimony and all these things that I know are effective ways of storytelling. That's why we have people come on the podcast. But I was always like, no, I'm on here enough. People hear about me enough. And
well, people might hear snippets from you, but maybe we should pedal back a little bit. So Maygen, how did you get to become the executive director of HDSA and a very active member of the Snohomish community?
Good question. So we moved to Snohomish in 2015 from Edmonds, and I was still very connected in and to Edmonds because I still worked there. Amy was in preschool there. Most of my friends were still there. My family is there. So we were, living, eating our meals and sleeping in Snohomish. But really our connection, at least for me, was still very integrated in Edmonds. And in 2019, I had followed Historic Downtown Snohomish on Facebook, I think. And so I really didn't know who they were or what they were doing, but I must have followed for some event or something. And they posted the job posting for the executive director, and I applied, and they got back to me and said, we've moved your application along in the process. You'll be hearing from us. I was like, sweet. And then I didn't hear anything. I'm like, okay, that's done. So I continued in my work. I was working at a athletic club and COVID happened and we all got shut down, which made that we lost our jobs. So then I was doing business consulting, which is something I'd always done, kind of survived through that. And then in 2022, I was working for somebody who I had been doing a project for. And I saw again, Historic Downtown Snohomish posted executive director again. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not too proud to try again. In the meantime, from the first round, I read about Main Street on the application in 2019. And I was like, what's that? I'm just a naturally curious person. So I was searching through Main Street, educating myself on that, got a couple leadership certificates. That's just what I do. You never know, might come in handy. But then I think that's why the board at the time ended up hiring me, was because I had minimal, but still some knowledge about Main Street. So I got hired in 2022.
And look at how far that brought us, because now we are a Main Street community.
We are, yes.
Right? All of that hard work, even from before you got the position.
Yes.
Yay.
But that job really is what actually integrated me more into the community here because you start meeting so many people. You meet businesses, you meet volunteers, you meet other community partners, other organizations. And so a lot of my new friendships have come from this job, which I kind of regret not getting involved in things earlier. I volunteered at the Grinch Run one year, but that was it. I'm not the type of person to go volunteer and meet 50 people. You know, that's just not who I am.
You go in, get the job done,
And then I
get
go home.
out.
Yeah, exactly. But I think I robbed myself a little bit of, you know, some of those connections that I could have made earlier, I suppose. But everything happens in the right time.
Exactly. You know? I mean, we met you, both Ken and I met you through this.
I know.
And look at where he got us.
And Trent.
So I think people know this, but you're obviously the head of the HDSA.
Mm-hmm.
You are on the Snohomish City Council.
Yeah.
You're a mother of 3 children.
Yep.
And you're on the board for the Snohomish Farmers Market.
Yes.
You're a busy person.
Yeah, a little bit.
So how do you do all of that?
Well, I do some of it really well. And sometimes I don't do as well as I could because there's just not enough time in the day.
Welcome to the club.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I know. Don't they say like 20% of the people are doing 100% of the work or something like that?
That's how it feels.
Yep.
Yeah. I feel like there's crazy people like us that are just like, what else can I be involved in? Although I will say that all of those things have natural crossovers with one another. So I am intentional about where I'm committing my time. I don't think I would have agreed to run for city council if I didn't see areas where I knew we'd be working with an HDSA and also things that I already felt confident in as a resident and things that I cared about. Because if I hadn't had some of those other experiences, I think it would have been too much new information to try to process, too many new areas to try to integrate into my life. But there's already so many, like I said, just natural integrations that it made sense. And then the farmers market, I really value the farmers market because so many Main Street programs run their own farmers markets.
Oh.
And like a lot of them.
Jeez.
Throughout the nation. Yeah.
I'm glad that's not us.
I know,
Yeah,
right? And to have one that is done so well and it happens in our downtown, I'm like, this feels like an appropriate way to give back and to bring that downtown perspective and also to assist with how they're making decisions with some of the knowledge we have that maybe is not already there on the board. So that felt like a good way to spend the limited time that I had available.
Expand your working hours, essentially.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's been good. I've enjoyed it. There's really great people on the board and Sarah's wonderful. So,
and it's such a
nice.
vital part of what we do here in Snohomish.
right.
Feel
How
like it-
terrible would it be to see it go away? You know,
Exactly.
I would never want that to happen. So if that's something that I can contribute to the longevity of it, then I feel responsible to do that, you know?
So I know that all of this, the crux and the intersections that we have here are all around, obviously, HDSA, the Historic Downtown Snohomish Association. For our listeners that might not be as familiar, and since you are the executive director, what would you say in your own words HDSA is and what does it do? Why do we exist?
I would say, I mean, just to give some perspective, HDSA is a Main Street organization, which is a whole thing in and of itself. There's a model that we follow. There's a program that we integrate, and it's a proven model. So we're not different from a lot of other small towns, and we're not different from other Main Street programs in how we are approaching our work. But every community is unique and has its own challenges, its own opportunities, its own characters that make it special, right? And Snohomish has a lot of that. And something that I've been saying a lot lately is nobody thinks about downtown Snohomish as much as HDSA. And that's all that we think about. That's all that we work for. We're not focused on the entire city. We're focused on how downtown Snohomish is such a positive asset for the entire city and what we can do in downtown to keep it that way. What are our challenges and opportunities? Where are we doing things well? Where do we need to involve more people? What voices are not at the table? And so essentially making sure that downtown Snohomish remains this vibrant, beautiful, historic place for people to keep enjoying is the ultimate goal of our work.
These places don't just pop up out of nowhere and exist, you know. It takes the stewards, whether it's a dedicated group like ours in HDSA or, you know, a non-formal group of people, but it does take effort to curate the experience that we have here in downtown Snohomish.
Exactly.
So how long have you been with the HDSA?
I was hired in 2022 at the end of April. So it's almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years.
Yeah.
And during those 3 years, what would you say you're the most proud of?
First of all, can I share more than one thing?
Please.
At first, I was like, oh, hands down, Main Street accreditation. I was most proud of that. And just to give people context, if you could like envision my hands. So put one hand at waist level. That is an affiliate, a Main Street affiliate. Raise the other hand above your head. That is an accredited Main Street program. That's the gap in the standard, right? So it's difficult. You have to do a lot of things, and you have to maintain this level of quality to retain your status. So HDSA had been operating as an affiliate for a long time, and I knew they wanted to become Main Street accredited. I knew, you know, what in general that meant, but I spent a lot of time just learning about what would that mean for Snohomish. And my goal was to get us there by 2025, which means we would be 3 months in to our accreditation. Somehow we achieved that in 2024, which I was pleasantly surprised by. But that was a big feat. And it also is such a great opportunity for investment in your community, because there's many things that come with accreditation that are just great for your program and for you to be successful. And that's the point of going through the accreditation process, is to have a successful program, implementing, you know, the 4 pillars of the Main Street Foundation to have a vibrant program. But some of the results that you get in Washington State is that businesses can direct their business and occupation taxes, B&O taxes, directly into your community. The reason you have to be accredited and have these high standards is because people are putting their money there, and you need to show that you can use it responsibly, that it's getting invested appropriately, and that you're going to be good stewards of that. So what an awesome opportunity to be able to redirect your own tax dollars into the community that you are doing business in. Otherwise, they get floated off to Olympia. And out of my own curiosity, I was like, what do B&O taxes actually go to? You know what? They don't tell you.
It's a big bucket, right? It's just a big vague bucket.
I don't know that they know.
Who knows? If it's out there somewhere, I couldn't find it. If you know, listeners, tell me what it is. But essentially, the only explanation is that we don't have a state income tax. Therefore, we have a B&O tax. I mean, where else do you get to say, I want my dollars spent and I want to see how and why and what the impact is? So while that's not the main driver of becoming accredited, it's a huge bonus and a great opportunity. So I was really proud of that.
You should be.
Oh, thanks. I was also really proud of hiring Denya. I dreamt of another staff person. So having another staff person is amazing. And the encouragement came through the Main Street program, being able to go to leadership trainings. I was at a table with a bunch of veteran executive directors, and I was like, man, we would really benefit from another person, but I don't know that we can afford it yet. And I don't know if it's the right time. And these women that I was at the table with were all like, you'll never be totally ready. It will never feel like the right time. But if you hire the right person, they will basically sustain their own job. And it's been totally true. And we've grown a lot, even just since hiring her in July. So that was great.
We love Denya.
We do. She's been fantastic. I think lastly, I'm not a super sentimental or emotional person, but whenever we do the tree lighting,
that's your jam.
I'm tearing up a little bit every time because it makes me feel so happy and proud of just creating this space that families are coming together and they're creating these core memories, like things that they will talk about when they're adults of how Christmas was for them as children. So moving it to the Carnegie, the lighting on the roof lines, the beautiful wreaths and things that we saw this year, those were all created through partnerships that we cultivated. So getting to see that come to fruition in these really meaningful, special ways for our families, That always makes me feel really proud and happy.
You should feel proud and happy. Snohomish looks so beautiful this holiday season.
It really did.
You created.
Thank you to Public Works.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Public
Thank you, Tim.
Works.
Yes. And Nova and Siobhan and all the people.
So now that you've been in this position for a couple of years, obviously you have accomplished a lot in those couple of years too. Where is the trajectory heading? What is your vision for the future of HDSA and downtown Snohomish?
So, I mean, essentially with places like downtown, you want a lot of things to stay the same, right? Because it's historic. You want to preserve those things. You want it to be familiar when you come back. It's kind of like seeing a really good friend that you don't get to see all the time. Of course, people are going to change over time, but you can just kind of pick up where you left off. And I would love for Snohomish to feel that way for people that return over and over again. Also, I mean, things are going to change. There's businesses that have come and gone in just since I've been here. And there's opportunity to bring in businesses that we don't have here yet, or different sorts of businesses that we don't have here yet, to where we have a better mix and things that would keep you here all weekend long, staying entertained and full.
I was like, well fed was the word that came to mind.
Well fed and happy. That's good. So keeping Snohomish preserved yet relevant. I mean, I actually really like the last line of our vision statement, where we said the past is preserved, but the present is welcomed and we innovate for the future. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just kind of, to sum up the trajectory that we're on. Mm-hmm. That's the work that we're doing so that you do have that experience when you come back over and over again.
You talked about a mix of businesses, and I'm curious to hear from you. What types of experiences or businesses do you see in the future?
Well, I think that's something that everybody should be informing. It's not just my vision for downtown. It's the vision that our board has, the vision that we hear from volunteers, from community members. I feel like we've been good about just listening, in conversations that we have with visitors, with people that we know that live here, people that reach out to us, business owners themselves. But as we are being a little bit more intentional about our communication strategy, actually seeking out that information to help inform that is really beneficial. So I don't know that I would be able to say in particular what those would be.
French bakery.
I mean, personally, I would love to see a patisserie downtown
in
this very specific building where I think it would be beautiful, which is going to be available soon. So any of you French creatives out there, French food creatives, there's an opportunity for you. Come talk to me.
A chocolatier.
Chocolatier. Yeah.
Anything gluten-free.
Yes.
My kids would love a laser tag place.
That could be fun.
I think experiences, awesome. I know we've chatted a bunch that it would really round out this area more than just shopping and eating and drinking, although we love doing all of those things. Mm-hmm. Additional experiences where people can spend, an extended amount of time more in the downtown area. Playing. Yes. Yeah, the play part. Yeah. I agree. Like that. Let's revive one of the theaters or something, that's what I want to do.
The river, we have such great potential with just the surroundings.
Yeah, I agree.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm. And my daughter Isabel is always hoping to have a French bakery downtown.
Wouldn't that be lovely?
And she also says, Dad, you need to do a candy store.
I mean, you're halfway there.
I am.
You're making half of your stuff as the candy topping. So I
don't think I'm going the other half though. Someone else is going to have to come
Someone please partner with Ken.
That would be awesome. That'd be fun. So regarding the vision, I'm curious how, open the businesses are, the downtown is to innovating for the future and creating this kind of set of diverse businesses and experiences that you talked about.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about that actually earlier. I was thinking about the level to which we want things to stay the same. And that's kind of a spectrum in and of itself. I think some people individually are really open to change. They're open to new things. They like to see things evolve. And others are very comfortable with where things are. But if you think about it, they're comfortable with where things are for now in their own experience. They didn't necessarily experience what it was like before, and they don't know what it might be like in the future. Mm-hmm. So I think that is just indicative of some of us are just uncomfortable with the unknown, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. Additionally, I do appreciate things that do need to remain the same. Like we have a strict set of design standards for that reason, because you want things to remain charming, to have that feel that you get when you're down here that you don't get in other places. There's a reason you're coming down here. It's that vibe that we talk about. So there's varying degrees. I'm not afraid to push people's imagination a little bit, or to just help them reflect on things that have changed that have been positive. And I feel like that all just comes through listening, understanding the experience that they're having. And I think most people are relatively open as long as you're including them in the conversation. And my blind side can sometimes be, who am I forgetting to involve in this conversation? That usually shows itself right after you have it. And so I'm trying to be better about, oh yes, make sure we're integrating whichever audience member I had forgotten before. And that's building over time. I'm getting better.
Speaking of, these big future visions and getting people's input, makes me think about the First Street Master Plan, which I think we've discussed a little bit on this podcast through various guests that we've had. But that is a collaborative effort that is starting, right?
Yeah.
To kind of put together this vision.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So I learned by bringing it up from time to time as I was hearing about it over the last couple of years, the overall consensus is, oh yeah, we've been hearing about that for decades. It's never going to happen. Well, it's happening actively now. So the city has contracted with a design consultant. They are in the design phase, which in my opinion is the most important phase, because once the design is set, that's what they're doing. So this is the time to pay attention, be informed, show up when you're invited, provide your input. The city's being extremely thoughtful about it, which I really appreciate. And the design consultants they're working with, they're called First 40 Feet, and they have worked with Vancouver, Washington. And Vancouver just broke ground on their project. But I think their design process started in like 2019. It's been going on for a long time. I will say it's a much larger capital project than ours is, but the level of engagement and thoughtfulness was really well done. And the businesses felt included the whole way, and they're ready for the construction project now. So to kind of rewind, the First Street Master Plan is an infrastructure project. It's a public works project because it primarily involves replacing sewer lines, water lines, electrical, all of these things that we don't think about really because you can't see them. But when it's time to replace them, you're going to know that it's happening. While they're doing this, they're also being mindful of what opportunities do we have to redesign, and I'm going to use that very conservatively, First Street. And that's to benefit the district. What problems do we have that can be solved with construction? Can it be right-of-way access that's easier, accessibility for ADA, public spaces that don't exist yet that we could be using the space that is currently there more wisely to create these community gathering areas, using the riverfront better access to the riverfront. I mean, there's so many opportunities that this is the chance to look at those things, but they're going to inform it based off of feedback. So if you're not there to give it, well,
we can't hear what is not being said.
Please show up. So our role in this is obviously communicating with the businesses. We would love to just serve as a conduit between the city and our downtown. And like I said earlier, nobody thinks about downtown as much as we do. Nobody knows about as much about downtown as much as we do, right? We live and breathe downtown Snohomish. We know who's here. We know what they think. We know the struggles that they have. And we get to experience it just by being here all the time. So essentially, HDSA is hoping to act as that communication conduit between all of the downtown district stakeholders, basically, and the city. But also, there's just certain things that we kind of inherently know. Like we were discussing, where would be a great place to do a demo of what a new design in First Street could possibly look like. And that could be something like, don't freak out anybody, but if we change the orientation of parking, big if, if we did that, they could basically like do an overlay in one area of downtown that would show what would this look like. So you can envision it in real time and people will be invited to come to this display and give their feedback. Originally, they wanted to do it in one area of downtown, and I was like, no. And here's why. And they were like, oh my gosh, that was super insightful. So it's nothing that they overlooked or didn't do any, proper research on. That's just something that we know because we work with everybody down here and we know how people use the downtown. So it's been a really great partnership, and I've really appreciated the city's intentional involvement of HDSA, and that we are going to continue all the way through the process. I mean, personally, whether I'm in the role or not, I want to build this into HDSA's strategic plans so that we're here from design to project completion. And my goal, this is cheesy, but would be no business left behind. Like if you're open when this starts, you're going to be open and thriving when it's done, and that can be things like, let's help you be as strong as you possibly can before any groundbreaking happens.
Right. The preparation and the planning.
Let's make sure your marketing is up to date. Let's make sure that you know how to get people in your shop aside from them just walking, like seeing you on the sidewalk, because that's going to be altered for some time. Like there's so many things to think about that we can help prepare you to be as ready as possible. So that was a long answer, but that's the First Street Master Plan as it stands right now. And what I envision HDSA's role will be in that.
So for people that want to get involved and have opinions and input that they would like to share because they live, work, and play here, what are some ways that either the city or HDSA is reaching out to get people's input, or how can the public, provide their feedback?
So we're working on an engagement plan. It'll primarily be the city's engagement plan, but HDSA is part of it. So one thing we've done so far is our block ambassadors that do monthly visits were able to deliver a paper notice that was like, hey, we have this survey open. That survey was to collect information from business owners. How do you access your business? Do you get deliveries? When and how? How do people access your space? Do you have stairs? Is there a stoop? Is there a basement? All of these things to just help inform them to what's actually here. I mean, a lot of different things that are going to be coming up as far as getting information out there. But I think the thing that is the most relevant right now is there's an open house on March 27th. It'll be at the Carnegie, and there's 2 opportunities to come. You can come in the morning from 8:30 to 10, or you can come in the evening from 4 to 7. And they've really structured this well. The agenda for the meetings is very well thought out, and it's going to be a real-time engagement opportunity where you'll be able to hear some design ideas, but also give your feedback. And as you're giving feedback, they have this system that will basically integrate that and display it so that you aren't seeing just what the city is proposing and the design consultants are proposing, but also how it's adapting with the feedback that's in the room at the time. So I'm looking forward to that. And I encourage everybody to come. If you're a business, if you do business down here, if you visit, if you're a resident, if you care at all about downtown Snohomish or enjoy it in any way, you should come.
I feel like I would just be curious to see what other people's inputs are. Like, obviously, each of us have our own experiences and our own perspectives. And I wonder how the other people live, Yeah. Like, what is their experience when they come here?
Exactly. So again, yes, I strongly urge you to come to the open house. This is one of the first real engaging opportunities that will inform the next phase of the design process. So this is the opportunity. So again, it's March 27th, 2 sessions, morning 8:30 to 10, evening 4 to 7. It's at the Snohomish Carnegie. And I think it's actually going to be really fun. So you might actually really enjoy it.
So Maygen, with the First Street Master Plan, with the vision that you have, if you were to look into the future a couple of years from now, after the First and Second Street Master Plans are done.
Oh, that's more than a couple of years.
Yeah. What's the future that you see? What's this look like?
Well, I think we build the future together, right? So
Maygen's like, I can't answer that.
It looks like a thoughtful result of many people who invested their time and shared their thoughts and care about where they live. So I think a lot of that would feel the way that it feels right now. I mean, I think I've told this before, but I'll give an example. I was telling my dad that when I walk down the street in Snohomish, that people say hi, like people say hello to you. You might recognize them or not. And he was like, I can't remember the last time I walked down the street and anybody acknowledged me. And I just thought, man, there's so many things that we take for granted here in Snohomish. But really, that sort of experience is what people are looking for when they come to a quaint, charming town. It's this sense of people recognize me, or people are kind to me. They know my name. I'm greeted when I walk into a shop. I might run into somebody that I know. But really just that cozy small town feeling, right? I would want that to still be here. So I think so much of what our work is preservation. You know, the Washington State Main Street program itself is housed under the Department of Archaeology and Historic Preservation. That's a huge part of it. But ultimately, where do those feelings come from? It's not coming from the buildings. It's coming from the people in the buildings. It's not coming from, you know, it's beautiful here, and I'm not discounting that. But you don't get feelings just from location. You know, you get feelings from the people. So when I say that the future will be the result of all the people that are investing right now, that is the most important part. So I think keeping that connection to each other is going to be essential, and making sure that we're all participating is going to determine what the future of Snohomish looks like. So I know that's super vague, but that's what I would hope. If I moved away and came back to visit, I would want it to feel the same that it feels right now. Sorry, Ken. It's not very specific.
Well, I like it. A community is made up of individuals. And so no one person can make the future happen. And just a story for your dad. I would always say hi to your dad on the street. And whenever I will not name which of my children feels this way, it's probably more than one, but she's always so embarrassed when I walk down the street. I'm like, hi, hello. And she's just like, Dad, why? Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
And I can say it's because of Maygen's dad.
Yeah. You never know who you're greeting. I was walking the dog on the Centennial Trail this morning, and every person I walked by said hello. Or good morning or something.
Or wave or nod or...
Yeah. I mean, staying connected to each other that way is really important. I think even especially in times like this when it can feel very polarized, you know, but just acknowledging another person with a smile or a simple greeting can really go a long way. And I think also just the culture of that is something that we experience here, and supporting that culture. There's work going on behind the scenes, right? So I want that work to continue so that that remains in the future. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And it takes effort, because obviously Seattle is very known for its Seattle freeze, right? So I know that when Trent and I first moved out into Snohomish, one of the reasons that we did is because we're like, whoa, people are welcoming here compared to, you know, the other communities that we've lived in, and the whole waving at people at the street. That is very Midwest. That is very where we came from. So it felt really homey and familiar. And I think helped encourage us to want to invest in the community, because, you know, you don't want to invest in something that you don't feel a part of.
Right.
And so it's just one of those cycles that kind of feeds off of itself, which is great. But maybe looking at a shorter future, although it's March, so it is a couple months into the 2025 year. Any fun, exciting plans for HDSA in 2025?
There's many plans. I'll share some things that you'll see sooner than later, I suppose. So we have a safety initiative that we're working on right now with Public Works for crossing flags in the downtown district. And it's something that has been asked for citywide, but we're kind of going to work on a pilot program downtown first and see how it goes. So I think the flags are actually already at Public Works, and they're just trying to schedule when they would actually install the little containers. And then we're going to have a partnership with them that will be maintenance, inventory, making sure that those flags are still there, moving them from one side of the street to the other if they're all on one side,
right,
and then replenishing the flags. But that initiative is something that so many people have tried to get off the ground. And I don't know, it wasn't any sort of special effort. I think I got lucky in my advocacy for it. And Nova surprised me and was like, yeah, the city would love to do this and install them. And so that you're going to see that really soon. I'm excited about that. that will hopefully help people feel a little safer downtown. I mean, one negative thing about the angled parking is you can't see well into the crosswalks. So even just having something that extends beyond your own arm and your body that you can put out that's more visible, I personally am going to find that I'll feel a little more secure with that. It's a tool, right? And that's feedback that we've heard from people. So I'm excited to see that happening. We do have, I feel like events season is kicking off. So whether it's our events or other events, there's a lot coming down First Street soon. But for HDSA, Snohomish Pride is June 7th. It's the main day. There's some activities happening on the 6th and the 8th as well. And then wine walk season.
I know.
Your favorite.
I know. I have a lot of homework to do this month.
But we also have some cool volunteer initiatives coming up. We're working on some more engagement opportunities for people to just get more involved, to be more integrated into HDSA outside of whatever volunteer thing you're doing. And then some cleanup initiatives that we want to do this late spring and summer, which is exactly what it sounds like, cleaning up downtown a bit. So I'm excited about those things. More, I guess intangible is just relationship development. That's a big part of our strategies this year. One that I can give you an example of kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier is, the mix of businesses that we see downtown. Well, where does that start? Really, it starts with property owners. And we haven't had a very robust relationship. We have a database, we know who owns them, but many times, like if it's the Marks building, the listing that you can go find says Marks Building LLC. Well, who is Marks Building LLC, right? There's so many of those listings. So we have a committee working on finding the individuals behind these and inviting them to come talk to us. What are you struggling with as a property owner? What needs are not being met? Do you need money? Do you need to do building improvements? What are some of the roadblocks if you're trying to do building improvements? Those are all really important things. Like so much of, just the built environment contributes to the experience that you have here. Additionally, trying to help landlords fill vacancies intentionally and strategically is important. If you have an oversaturation of a certain type of business, when that newest one comes in, they might be really successful for a little while because they're the new kid on the block. But eventually, they and all the other people in their industry are going to struggle. So if you are oversaturating your downtown district with businesses like that, number one, it's hurting all of the businesses in the area, like I just said. Number two, as a landlord, you just put a tenant in your building that might not have much longevity. And if you're a property owner who doesn't even live down here, how are you going to know that? If you're disconnected from the place that you own your building, well, HDSA can help inform you of to those things. And maybe we can even bring you the ideal tenant that adds to the mix that we have down here, but also ensures success of that business that keeps a tenant in your building.
Keeps paying rent.
Yes. To go back to my dad, he's a silversmith, and people would come in and be like, how do I keep my silver from tarnishing? His answer was always, use it. If you're using it, it's getting polished basically as you're using it and it's staying nice and shiny. How do you keep your building in good shape? Rent it, have it occupied. Vacant buildings fall apart. Even if you're not primarily responsible for caretaking for that as a tenant, you're still caring for it because you care about your business and your space and you have eyes on it and you're going to tell the property owner about the needs. That's where HDSA also can come in. Do you have a large project you need to do? We're connected to Main Street funding. We can get preservation grants. We can bring you money to pour right into your building. Everything feeds the next thing. And what's the end result of all of that? If you have a vibrant, eclectic mix, you have a desirable downtown. That means people are coming down here. If you don't have vacancies, that means that you don't have vandalism a lot of the times. That means you don't have things happening downtown that you don't want happening downtown. So it all, ends up impacting the end user. But if you work backwards from that, who do you need a good relationship with? Property owners. Who else do you need a good relationship with? Businesses, potential businesses, right? So much of this comes from relationship development. And those are some areas that we've identified where we have gaps,
I do want to highlight, though, and set a reminder to our audience that HDSA is a nonprofit organization.
Yes.
So all of the work that Maygen has been talking about, all of the really important work in order to maintain our downtown the way that we like it, we need people to help do that. So I'd like to call out to the audience that if any of the things that Maygen has listed seems exciting to you, you want to contribute, you want to provide feedback, you want to provide input, you want to have an active hand in, really setting this culture here, please volunteer at HDSA.
Yeah. That's a great plug. And also, one of the real benefits about HDSA, Main Street organizations, our work is so broad that there is something for everybody to be invested in and be passionate about. If you care at all about downtown Snohomish in any way, there's a job that aligns with what you care about. The work is so expansive. Like if it's events, come help out at an event. If you are more strategically minded and you want to have really cultivated, intentional relationships for the sake of people doing good business down here, you can volunteer that way. If you like databases, plenty of opportunities.
We still have to get those business cards logged in a system, don't we?
That is absolutely true. And I have a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be filed.
I didn't know about that project.
It's been on the bottom of the to-do list.
I think somebody has all the business cards actually at this point. It did go that far.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get them back too. To bring it about.
But yeah, we only have 2 employees in HDSA, which is Maygen and Denya. And our entire board is volunteer based. And it's going to take a lot of hands, a lot of people to accomplish what we need to. So if any of you guys are interested, feel free to contact HDSA.
Yes, go to our website, go to support. There's a volunteer link there. But on that note, Sheila, it's a good opportunity now to thank all of those people because countless hours are put into HDSA by volunteers. I think last year we had, Ken, wasn't it like 1,300, 1,400 collective volunteer hours?
It was.
And those are just the ones that we actually captured in the database, So
we went
it's
from
above and beyond that.
like 100 to over 300 volunteers.
Yeah.
Over 1,400 logged hours.
Yeah.
So a lot of great work was done by a lot of people, and we appreciate them.
Yes, so much.
Very rewarding work over here at HDSA.
Yeah,
I
making
agree.
a difference. So this might be a new question for you. But can you tell us about your perfect or ideal day in downtown?
Shocker. Shocking question. Yes, I can. First of all, so many people do talk about the weather. And if we're going to incorporate weather into your perfect day, we wake up and the sun is out.
We can see the sky.
This already.
We can see the sky.
It's my perfect day too.
The birds are chirping and it's not cold out. It doesn't need to be hot, but I'm not freezing or needing to wear tons of layers when I go outside or have to have your hands in your pockets. That would be nice. So there we set the scene. I would likely wake up feeling good, no headache, no migraine, and I would take the dog for a walk and we would go through the bird reserve. That's our favorite place to go. It's so nice in there. If you haven't gone in there, I highly recommend it. And then we would walk down First Street and ideally someone else would be with me. It could be Rich. It could be one of my kids. It could be Sheila, Ken, anyone. And they would stay outside of Grain with the dog so I can go in and get myself a pastry or vice versa because you have to hit up Grain when you're downtown. Then I would go home and drop off the dog and whichever family member wanted to accompany me, it would be nice to just walk through downtown and try to take off my HDSA Council Farmers Market hat and just enjoy being down here, which Sheila, I think you and I did that one day.
And I think we're overdue for another non-work day in downtown Snohomish.
It's really great. I mean, if you work in any area that crosses over into your normal life, I think it's really good to have intentional days when that's what you do because you remember how nice it is to just enjoy it. It does make it extra special that I do have relationships with most of these people now, though. And I think whether you're in a role like this or not, that's what makes downtown Snohomish special is that there are relationships in most of these places. So doing a little browsing, getting some froyo, of course, visiting Evie at work, and then having dinner either probably I really like Rogers if it's in the spring or summer on the back deck back there or at Toto Mexico on the deck because you can see up in the sky, my favorite thing, the hot air balloons. Ooh, which I should add in the morning, sometimes right when I wake up because of where my house is, I can hear them. So I actually really love running outside and be like, oh, where is it? And trying to find it in the sky. That's always fun. So we can add that into the morning. So dinner downtown and then probably just hanging out on my back deck, which is in Snohomish, and watching the skydivers scream their heads off from the sky.
Do you get to hear them scream their heads off?
Oh, yes. I can hear them. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
It's so cute, actually, because you hear people say, like, I can hear what they're saying.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So sometimes people are swearing because they're like freaking out. And most of the time it's just this, like, they feel so alive, you know, and you can hear it in their voices.
While they're screaming, I'm gonna die.
But they're like, it's this, you know, it's a different kind of excited joy. And being able to hear that from the backyard is actually really fun.
That is so funny. I didn't realize that. I knew you were close, but that you could hear them.
Oh, yeah. And my neighbor just cleared out a bunch of stuff in her backyard. So I can see them land actually now at the airfield.
Nice.
So I get the whole experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is great.
I'm so lucky.
Watch spot.
It is. Yeah. You want to come over?
I will.
It's very entertaining.
Well, Maygen, hopefully this hasn't been as bad of an experience being in the guest seat.
It's fine. I mean, you guys did a great job.
Oh, thank you.
It just feels very unnatural.
Yeah.
To be answering the questions. And gosh, I felt like I talked so much.
But that is the role of the guest.
That's right.
It is.
We're trying to get to know you.
I hope it was good.
I think
and not
it's
boring.
It was great.
And that listeners won't be like, oh my gosh, stop talking.
Or a straight master plan.
I mean, I'll talk about that all day long. It's important.
Well, thank you for spending your afternoon with us. But hopefully this was a good experience because I enjoyed learning more about you too.
Oh, thanks.
Always something to discover.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thank you, Maygen.
Snohomish Storytellers, brought to you by the Historic Downtown Snohomish Association, produced by Red Trucks.